TNT Sports presents the Automobile Racing Club of America. Founded in 1953, ARCA was originally a parallel series to NASCAR, running stock cars on speedways all over the Midwest. Now it's spread out all over the country, becoming one of the top proving grounds for future stars of the sport. Today, those aspiring chargers get their chance on the biggest and fastest stock car track in the world, the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. Let's go to pit road. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, Alan, there are two Generation Next drivers you should keep a watchful eye on today. First of all, Justin Labonte starts second in a Dodge. Jason Jarrett starts third. He's 26-year-old. Justin is 20 years old. Now, between their two fathers, Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett, there are 3 Winston Cup championships, over 1,100 starts. Between these two guys, 33 starts in the ARCA series. But don't let that fool you. They have very fast race cars and a load of talent waiting to be developed. So with all the experience their fathers have and all the inexperience these guys have, who do you think's more nervous? The dads, of course. Both Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte say we're extremely nervous today, but we know these guys have the experience and the knowledge to pull it through. To Liz Allison.
The ARCA race has more than just a bunch of guys in the field today. Tina Gordon started on dirt just a few miles down the road from Talladega. She's making her very first ARCA start here at Talladega. Tina, take us around the first lap when you got here the other day.
Oh, well, it was definitely a lap. You know, before I went out, they were telling me that, you know, you can go full throttle all the way around. So I'd been here to Talladega in a dash car, and we come back with Richard Petty's back in March, but never in this ARCA car going so fast. And first lap out, I went out and I was full throttle on the straightaways, but I had to lift just a little bit going into the turns. And when I hit turn 1 down here, my stomach was up here in my throat. But actually, I got it about the 3rd session out. I could hold it down all the way around.
Well, she will start 5th today. Matt?
Liz, you served notice at the season opener in Daytona when rookie Ryan Newman won the race, but another rookie, Stuart Kirby, who had never raced on a track larger than a half-mile, turned the most heads by finishing 5th. The 20-year-old was just intent that day on learning, following the veterans, trying to gain some big track confidence and prowess. Today, Kirby is confident about his abilities and his big track car as the Kentucky native will chase his first career ARCA victory, starting from the 9th position. To Dave Burns.
Matt, Casey Mears has a famous last name. He is the nephew of Rick Mears, 4-time Indianapolis 500 champion. He is the son of Roger Mears, famous off-road racer. This is his very first ever stock car race. Why, oh why, Casey, is your first stock car race here at Talladega?
Well, you know, we want to try to get going here for Daytona next year, maybe in the Busch race. So, you know, obviously you got to come here and get some super speedway experience before we do something like that. And, you know, maybe another ARCA race before the year's out, and hopefully get to run the Busch race early part of next year. But also, you know, it's just a nice place to be. Talladega obviously has a long heritage, and it's a lot of fun going around these high banks. I'm looking forward to this race.
All right, he's a heck of a racer in the open wheel ranks, and he does have just a little bit of testing experience earlier this year with the Sterling Marlin team on the Winston Cup Series. Alan?
Dave, thank you. With Benny Parsons and Wally Dallenbach to bring you today's ARCA REMAX Series 300-miler. Casey Mears, he's gone 200 miles an hour in a champ car, right? No problem coming to Talladega for the first time.
He's going to school, I'll tell you what. Yeah, Casey Mears knows how to go fast in IndyCar, but nothing can prepare you from coming here to Talladega Super Speedway with 43 stock cars around you. When he goes through the tri-roll first time with cars in front and back and both sides, he's going to be going, Yahoo! Because that's what it's going to feel like. He is not ready for that.
He did it.
Wow, he did.
I didn't think he'd do it. He said he was going to do it.
That's
we
what
didn't
I did the first time.
Benny, let's talk about the whole experience factor of the field. These guys have been out here for a couple of days in practice and qualifying, so they should be settled down by now, right?
No, not really. Because the difficulty factor, what they've done so far, 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, 10 being the hardest, it's been a 1. Because this racetrack, the entry and exit of these corners are so easy, it's no problem to drive around the racetrack by yourself. Now, in the race, the difficulty factor has gone up to a 7 or 8. Exactly what Wally's talking about. Cars will be all around you. You've got to be very careful. Otherwise, we'll be talking about the big one in the ARCA race, talking about the big crash.
You know, if you're a young driver looking to create a career break for yourself, winning at Talladega in front of all the assembled Winston Cup owners is not a bad way to do it. 41 of them going to go after the checkered flag next on TNT. What was that again, Wally? Yahoo! Agents, outstanding results. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR, kart, and NHRA. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts, when the right way is the only way. The last time the ARCA series was in competition was 2 weeks ago in Charlotte, North Carolina. And in the final moments of that race, driver Blaze Alexander lost his life in a crash. Alexander, by his own choice, was not wearing a head or neck restraint at the time, but in his passing, becoming the 5th different driver to die of similar injuries in the last year and a half, brought another outcry for mandatory use of either the Hans or Hutchins system to be required by the sanctioning bodies. This past week, NASCAR did just that, requiring all drivers in the Winston Cup, Busch, or Craftsman Truck Series to be wearing either the Hans or Hutchins device. And while ARCA, today's sanctioning body, has not made the use of those systems mandatory, they have strongly encouraged their drivers to the point that everyone in today's race will wear one of the head and neck restraint systems. Dave Burns has a look at the Hans and Hutchins devices for us.
And Alan, they're a little bit more difficult to see when the driver is in the car, but Mike Harmon in the 7 car has chosen the Hutchins device. It's a webbing sort of system that goes on over his fire suit and then hooks to his helmet right here. That keeps his head from moving forward. It also attaches down below at the belt buckle area. Now, as for Mike Buckley and others who who's chosen the Hans device, that system is a Kevlar piece that goes on over his neck and then is secured by his seat belts. Also attached at the rear, it keeps Mike Buckley's head from going forward in the event of an impact. Now, both these systems are designed to increase the strength of the head and neck in the event of a crash. Alan?
Dave, thank you. Wally, Benny, thoughts on the sanctioning bodies making the use of the head and neck restraints mandatory instead of strongly recommended?
Well, for a long time, I felt like that the driver should make that decision. It shouldn't be left up to NASCAR, but after what we've seen this year, I've changed my mind. I think NASCAR did exactly the right thing, and after all, they have done so much research in the last year in this area. They've got to know that it's the best way to go, and it will help the situation out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I applaud NASCAR for doing that. All along, I've been saying it should be mandatory, and I think there's some other things in the rule book that NASCAR needs to look at, like making helmets and uniforms mandatory now, but I feel NASCAR made the right move, and I feel that they're definitely going in the right direction on safety for our sport.
And again, while ARCA is the sanctioning body for today's race, all drivers in the field will use some form of head and neck restraint. While no one can say for sure whether Blaze Alexander would have survived his crash had he been wearing one, the fact that so much focus has been brought to the issue of safety through his passing, maybe some good has come from it. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremony.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Before we have our prayer, I want to take a moment to remember the family of Blaze Alexander that lost his life at our track there in Charlotte, and also for the victims of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Flight 93. Let us pause a moment for silent prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you, Lord, for your presence. We thank you, Lord, for this facilities that we can come and have a great time. We ask that your safety will rest with every driver, the wisdom for the spotters of this race, and for the crew chiefs that at the end of this race, we all know we've done our best. For I ask this prayer in Christ's name, amen.
Please remain standing and join in Warner Brothers recording artist Dusty Drake in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
words in all of motorsports, our Grand Marshal, Don Butler.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
41 drivers are set to go racing at Talladega Superspeedway. The starting lineup in green flag when we come back on TNT. Back at the Talladega Superspeedway, the field of starters in today's ARCA REMAX Series 300-miler rolling off onto the Talladega Superspeedway to begin their parade and pace laps before the green flag. Here's our Castrol Syntex starting grid. Bobby Gerhardt of Lebanon, Pennsylvania is on the pole. Won the Daytona ARCA race in '99. Terry's son Justin is alongside in a Dodge. Row number 2, it is third-generation driver Jason Jarrett, winner in Kansas City earlier this year. And Colorado Rick Corelli, who's got to drop to the end of the pack because he had to change engines this morning.
In row 3 on the inside, the lady in the field, Tina Gordon, with a very fast race car. Her teammate, Bob Strait, on the outside. In row 4 on the inside, C.W. Smith out of Pennsylvania, and ARCA REMAX Series champion Frank Kimmel on the outside.
5th row, Jeremy Mayfield, protege Stuart Kirby from Kentucky. Saw him in the Winston Cup race at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. No relation, but Andy Kirby, former Nashville Speedway track champion, is in row 5. Bristol, Tennessee's Nate Monteith in his second ARCA race starts in the 6th row. Jacksonville, Florida's Keith Seegers had a top 10 in the season opener at Daytona.
On the inside of row 7, Randall Ritter out of Tennessee, and Robbie Benton in one of the Robert Yates cars on the outside. Casey Mears on the inside of row 8, and Richard Mitchell on the outside out of West Virginia.
Mississippi's Robert Burrows is in the 17th starting spot. Walkerton, Indiana's Chad Blunt makes his Talladega debut from outside of row 9. Birmingham, Alabama driver Mike Harmon is in the 10th row, veteran of the Busch Series, and Damon Lusk from the Pacific Northwest.
On the inside of row 11 is Mike Buckley out of Michigan. On the outside, Billy Venturini out of Concord, North Carolina. On the inside of row 12, Mark Gibson, formerly of Daytona Beach, Florida, and Rick Markle on the outside.
13th row, Donnie Morlock and Norm Benning. Benning, the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania veteran, finished 9th here last year. Doug Reed of Hueytown, Alabama is inside of row 14 with Dion Ciccarelli of Maryland.
On the inside of row 15 out of Florida is Dale Kreider, and Tennessee's Ron Cox on the outside. In row 16, Bob Kelly, another car out of Florida, and Chuck Weber on the outside.
17th row, Brian Kahns of Livonia, Michigan, and Fayetteville, Tennessee's Tim Mitchell. Pennsylvania veteran Andy Belmont is alongside Columbus, Ohio's Greg Sarf in row 18.
On the inside of row 19, Kevin Belmont and Dennis English on the outside. In row 20, Darrell Basham on the inside, Eric Martin on the outside. 21st and last, Todd Boucher. His dad, Jack Boucher, so instrumental in my ARCA career back about 30 years ago.
Couple of laps away from the start, so let's take a commercial break here. We'll be back for the green flag after this on TNT. Talladega Superspeedway, the ARCA REMAX Series, set to go in the Food World 300 on TNT. A couple of more pace laps before they cut them loose as the field continues to form up for the start. This is the second to last race of the season for the ARCA Series. Frank Kimmel has already locked up the championship. Look at that gap to Jason Jarrett.
And we thought Jeff Green winning the Busch Series championship by over 600 last year was big. Over 1,100 points over Jason Jarrett.
Kimmel has won 10 of the 23 races so far. Stories from pit road. Here's Marty Snyder.
Hey, Benny Wally, I got a question real quick for you. You ever had a weekend that was just so good at the racetrack it almost seemed surreal in some way?
Not in a long time, Marty.
No. Anyway, that means good. That means really good, and you can't believe it's happening to you. That's what's going on with Bobby Gerhardt, the pole sitter. On Thursday, his first ever restrictor plate pole. And then in practice, the car did everything he wanted it to. He said things have gone so well this weekend, they've almost gone too well. He said, I hope the luck can hold out for one more day, and I can get my first career win at Talladega. To Matt Yoakum.
Marty, three-time series champion Frank Kimmel has just about seen it all in his ARCA career. 33 wins, 10 this season. But he will tell you there's one win missing from his racing resume, and that is on a restrictor plate racetrack. They debuted this brand new race car, Daytona. It nearly pulled off the win. He finished third. They brought it here. He starts 8th. He's hoping to break through and rebound from last year when he finished 13th. To Liz Allison.
Hueytown, Alabama's Dougie Reed is back today for the first time in an ARCA car since he wrecked here in '99 and cracked his skull. He's hoping to have a great race today in front of his hometown fans, and he will start 27th. Dave?
Liz, Rick Corelli has already dropped to the back of the field because of the engine change that he had to, that forced him to go back there. But he also has gone to the back of the pit lane. He and 4 other top 10 qualifiers chose pits that are at least 28th and further back. Why? Well, not so they could speed down pit road. No, they never tried that. But actually, the gearing in these cars for this track makes it difficult to get up to the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit lane unless you're back here a ways. So that's why they did it. Guys up front, by the time they hit the line at the end of pit road, they may not even be up to 55 miles an hour yet.
Can you believe Marty explaining what surreal means? Like we didn't know what that means. No.
We're still another minute from the green flag. We'll take a break and come back for the start. Per year, the ARCA Series races at the world's fastest speedway. It is about to get underway. 41 drivers, 300 miles around this 2 2/3 mile giant oval. Bobby Gerhardt, former Daytona winner, and second-generation driver Justin Labonte bring the field down for the first of 113 laps that make up today's distance. Green flag is out. We're racing at Talladega. Labonte in the 4.
Nothing has changed. They took the green flag about 65 miles per hour. They're now up to about 180 miles per hour, and they're still side by side.
Jason Jarrett in the purple and gold car, the 67, now slipping to the inside of Justin Labonte to race him for second. Bobby Gerhardt going to lead lap 1.
That black car back on the inside, number 22, is Tina Gordon. The young lady, her first race on a super speedway. Oh, Tina's got her hands full off turn 2. Hit those bumps, and the car got a little bit uncomfortable with her.
And that's something that the drivers who don't have any experience at Talladega are learning for the very first time, what the cars do in heavy traffic like this.
Exactly. They're finally up to speed right now. It usually takes a couple laps to get these cars fully up to speed, so they'll start working around here, and I'm surprised they're only staying 2 side by side. I'm surprised they haven't gone 3 wide yet.
Here comes the series champion Frank Kimmel. 3 wide.
Here's that Yahoo I was talking about. Tina Gordon is saying right about now.
Okay, I'm in the middle. What's going to happen now? Bob Strait up top in the 66. Series veteran.
See how that car is moving around? You really don't have a lot of downforce on that car. The car in the middle has a less downforce on it than any other car out there right now, so you really don't want to be there.
C.W. Smith, that 8 car, trying to follow. Frank Kimmel through.
Bob Strait backed off, got back in line behind his teammate Tina Gordon, just 2 wide there. Gerhardt, Jarrett, Labonte, the front 3, single file, then this for 4th between Kimmel and Gordon.
And those 3 guys will get away if these guys keep running side by side like this, especially 3 wide. Those 3 cars lined up in a draft right now will pull away from this pack.
Oh, that's a squeeze.
Andy Kirby, that red car in the middle, number 49. The yellow car on the outside is Keith Seegers. And the 44 car is Nate Monteith out of Bristol, Tennessee.
Down to the inside.
Randall Ritter in the 31 car gets on the inside.
Wisely backed off when he got to the corner because Monteith's starting to come down a little bit. Marty.
Well, Mike Harmon sits here on pit road, and they have a couple of problems. Number one, the engine started running hot. They came in, they pulled a little tape off of it. The engine is shut down, however, because they think they have a plug wire that is off somewhere, and that's what they're looking at right now, trying to find out if indeed it is a plug wire that is causing the feeling that Mike has in the car, which is basically a feeling of having only 7 cylinders.
Yeah, I can't believe it got hot that quick, Benny. I mean, it had to be something like a plug wire.
It sounds like something is wrong, and Mike Harmon, the 7 car, has to be crushed. This is his home racetrack, and he told me this morning, this is the best car I've ever had for an ARCA race. I'm going to win today. He's not going to win today.
Yeah, told me the same thing. That's a shame. Harmon is on pit road, first car out of the race right now. As the field starts to sort itself out a little bit and the traffic begins to thin.
The 91 car is Casey Mears. We talked to him earlier. Rick Mears' nephew.
Racing Robert Burrows in the 53 car. And that is for the 14th and 15th position.
Those guys in the Robert Burrows pit crew this morning told me I was supposed to call him Rooster today. I'm not sure I was supposed to do that. It sounded like I wasn't supposed to really do that, but I guess I have already, right?
Too late.
Too late.
Let's get more on Casey Mears from Liz Allison.
And Alan, I talked to Casey this week, and he said he started racing when he was 3 years old on little plastic big wheels. He had his first race, and he was leading, and he got right up to the line, and he stopped before the finish line, and the other kids crossed over and won, and he started crying because he didn't get a trophy. And his dad said, buddy, you got to cross the line first to get a trophy. So he said, you know what? I remember that, and I've got that here with me today. So he's looking to cross that line first today.
Billy Venturini, the blue car on the outside, number 25.
And here comes Rick Corelli. That 05 car was supposed to start on the outside of row 2. Had to go to the end of the field because in ARCA, if you change engines from the time you qualify to the time you race, you're out. Lose your starting spot. They broke a crankshaft in his car yesterday. Had to change the engine. He had to go to the back.
Well, they got a pretty good piece of that right now because he's up to 20th spot.
And we check in on the leaders. Bobby Gerhart, Jason Jarrett, Justin Labonte being caught by a few more. Tina Gordon in the 22. Bob Strait in the 66 closing in. Of course, Jason Jarrett and Justin Labonte running second and third with fathers who have quite a bit of racing experience here. We talked with Dale Jarrett earlier this weekend on the advice he's given his son Jason for running this race, and he talked to us about that fine line between helping and trying to help too much.
You know, I would like to get on the radio and say, okay, now's the time to go, but you can't do this. You can stand there and watch, and there's probably going to be times when I could have said, okay, Jason, I think this is what you could do, but he has to develop that feel, and that's what I want him to do. So, you know, if he asks me a question on the radio, then I try to give him a good answer, but seldom do I get in and try to chime in too much because, you know, you honestly can't tell somebody how to drive a race car. I can give him a lot of advice about it, but until he gets out there and does it, you know, it's just him finding that out for himself.
That's very true. I mean, what you do is you give all the support you can. You can't teach somebody how to drive a race car because they're going to develop their own style. And that's exactly what Dale Jarrett was saying. He's got to find his place.
Mixing it up for third, Justin Labonte's getting cut out of the herd.
Tina Gordon, the 22 car, goes by on the outside. Brings straight. Hey, you see Justin Labonte smoke out of the back of that car. Oh, man, Eddie Sharp and that crew, they're going to be so disappointed. Easy, Justin.
Didn't even make lap 10. Ah, it's too bad. Justin Labonte on pit road. After starting on the outside of the front row, might not even have broken a sweat yet.
Thank goodness he was wise enough to get that car out of the pack and down on pit road. Matt?
If any of the 4-car makes an unscheduled pit stop, they're going to raise the hood and look underneath. The car is smoking heavily from underneath the hood. Eddie Sharp told me the car was overheating moments before the 4-car came down pit road. A tough break for this team. They've had a lot. Oh, he now shuts the engine off.
See, there's a hose in there, Matt, that they're reaching under with their hand and just kind of bending around. So something has come disconnected.
Keith Allman, the gray-haired fellow that looked in, is the chief engine builder up at Petty Enterprises, where that engine came from. And as soon as he saw the problem, he just kind of shook his head.
We'll follow up on pit road shortly with a further diagnosis, but Justin Labonte's in trouble early. Bobby Gerhardt leads Jason Jarrett, early going at Talladega. Wendy's race menu tomorrow from Talladega. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series takes center stage with the EA Sports 500 presented by Dodge. You'll see it on NBC at 12:30 Eastern Time. Then our NASCAR Night Encore Monday night on TNT at 1 a.m. Eastern and Pacific. And you look down on the world's fastest speedway from the Budweiser.com airship. Brought to you by Busch and Busch Light Beers. Enjoy, race fans. Bobby Gerhardt and Jason Jarrett in the 5 and 67 are the two leaders.
And they're loving life because they have a 2-car breakaway. The 3rd car, the black car, there's Bob Strait. And they have put some distance on Tina Gordon and also the 75 car of Stuart Kirby. As a matter of fact, those Tina and Kirby have fallen back to the 46 car of Frank Kimmel and C.W. Smith.
And the reason for that was that Tina and Stewart were running side by side, lap after lap. It seems like about 3 laps, and they lost that lead group. Instead of one of them just cracking the throttle and getting back in line, not only did they lose the draft from the leaders, but that pack behind them caught them and passed them.
Now we saw the 4-car of Justin Labonte back on track. Matt, what happened?
What's wrong with the race car? First you thought it was overheating.
Yeah, we thought that. It looks like return oil line either got left loose or, you know, my guys work really hard in the shop, and it's a shame, and Justin deserves a good run. And, you know, you're going to have that. There's only 3 of us running this whole program. And just one of those things.
A lot of disappointment because you guys are putting a lot on this race to try to get a sponsor for next year for Justin.
Yeah, we got a great program, good people. Kyle Petty gives us engines. The boys work hard in the shop. I think we got something to really be strong. We need a sponsor like other people. Justin's got a lot of things to learn. He's got a lot of talent. The guy's got a lot of heart. We'll be back.
Eddie has put a lot into this program. Also, the owner is a stockbroker, Kerry Shear out of Atlanta. He's put his life savings into this team. They were hoping for a lot today, looking ahead to next year.
All right, Matt, thanks. Justin Labonte in 38th place now, 3 laps down to race leader Bobby Gerhardt. And right in the middle of a pack of traffic that is trying to line up and catch the leaders. There are the 2 leaders here, the 5 and the 67 with Gerhardt and Jarrett. And that whole pack you saw behind Justin Labonte is the rest of the lead group. Look at the distance. Way back. There's Justin. Then you get back to some of the other lead lap cars.
I think they need to be in a little bit tighter draft to really gain anything on the leaders, BP.
Yeah, they need to get closer. But there again, a lot of these drivers, and like in Tina Gordon's case, this is their first time on a racetrack as big as Talladega, her first time drafting, and you just can't expect those people the first time to close up and just ride on that front bumper of the car in front of them, or the rear bumper of the car in front of them.
Got a couple of more drivers having some early problems. Dave Burns.
One of them, Alan, is Dion Ciccarelli, who is already out of the race with motor problems. The team said it just blew up. The number he was running today was 16, and 16 was actually the winningest number here at the Talladega Superspeedway in ARCA competition. The number belongs to Tim Steele. Tim has won here 4 times, and he called up Dion and said, hey, I'm not going to be at the race. Could you run my number so I can get some owner points? So Tim Steele not here, but trying to collect owner points. Unfortunately, he won't get very many today.
Now Dion's going to finish 40th out of 41. Mike Harmon out after the problems we saw with the engine just 2 laps in. And also Doug Reed has gone behind the wall with his car. Rick Corelli, 05 car, red and white, center of the picture there. Dropped to the back, continues to be on the charge. He's up to the 11th spot now.
There was in the Remax car. I guess who's spotted for Rick Corelli today? Davey Leniger, the owner of Remax Realty. Talked to him down in the garage this morning. Huge racing fan. Came over today not only to see the ARCA Series run here, but to spot and cheer his driver on. Hopefully the victory.
Leaders have begun to pick their way through the tail end of the field. Some of the lap cars, the slower cars. And for now, a 2-car breakaway as they've moved out in front of third place Bob Strait by 1.9 seconds. That's Strait, that black dot way in the back of the picture there.
I'm surprised he's hanging in there as well. He is running by himself.
Marty?
Well, one thing to keep in mind here, guys, Bobby Gerhardt is doing a great job in the lead, but Jason Jarrett is running for ARCA points and currently sits second in the point standings. Now, Jason wants to lead a lap, so Bobby's spotter asked him if he would pull over and let Jason lead a lap. He said, if we get far away enough from the pack behind us, I have no problem doing that. So look for in a few minutes, Bobby Gerhardt to pull over and let Jason Jarrett lead a few laps.
And you see, in NASCAR Winston Cup, the Pontiac guys are always complaining about the Pontiac not being a good body style to run with the Dodge, Chevrolets, and Fords. These two leaders are Pontiacs. And under the ARCA rules, this is the car of choice and the car that seems to be the fastest car because of how the rear spoiler is positioned on the car. Dave Burns?
And Benny, the third place car, Bob Strait, who stuck out all by himself right now in his Ford, radioed in a similar complaint, and his crew just got back from, yep, the Pontiacs have the edge right now. Just hang in there, buddy.
But right now, that pack that's all lined up, they are faster, and they will run these guys down eventually. They've got a really good draft line going there. They should pick up these first 2 cars. Actually, they should get straight here in a few laps.
So Bobby Gerhardt leads. Jason Jarrett is second. Bob Strait third. Stuart Kirby and Frank Kimmel lead that second group, trying to catch the front 3 at Talladega. At Talladega on TNT, the ARCA 300 is under the yellow flag for the first time. No crash. Eric Martin's car, the 56, stopped and almost stopped in turn 3, and they put the caution out to get it back around to pit road. And his crew going to the attention of that one. So first yellow flag. We're 22 laps in. Do you pit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 60 miles. I think we'll see most of the leaders on pit road.
Corelli was up to 11th, and he's back to 17th in that last couple laps. What happened to him?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
So Bobby Gerhardt and Jason Jarrett's advantage, having broken away from the rest of the pack, all evaporates here as the pace car brings the field back up to them. That's a good break for Frank Kimmel and Stuart Kirby and some of those others that had kind of got hung in that second draft.
That was the pole sitter, Bobby Gerhardt, we were riding along with.
Now, the pit stops here for the ARCA series, most of these crewmen are volunteer weekend help. So you're not going to see the 14.5-second stops you're going to see on the Winston Cup series. If you see some guys bust off some 18 and 19-second stops, they have done a great job.
They did a fantastic job. More than likely the pit stops to be somewhere around the 25-second range.
Expect everyone will take 4 tires here. So it's going to be Gerhardt, Jarrett, Strait, Kirby, and Kimmel, the top 5. Then Tina Gordon, C.W. Smith, Keith Seegers, Andy Kirby, and Damon Lusk, the top 10, as they come to pit road. Stops will be as they complete the 23rd lap of the race. And we go to Dave Burns.
Bob Strait is in. They will change 4 tires. The only thing else they want to change on the car was that the temperatures were a little bit high. They're going to take some tape off the front of the car when they come around to change the left side tires on the 66 car. Matt?
A 2-tire change for Jason Jarrett. They also pulled a piece of tape off the grill because his car, too, is running warm, and he is down and away to Marty Snyder.
Matt, Bobby Gerhart overshot his pit. They had to push the car back. It will be left side tires only. That was the plan originally, just to take left side tires. They're planning just to take right sides on the next stop. They get him down and away, but he lost a lot of positions to Liz Allison.
The 25 car is also having some overheating problems. They're going to come in, take some right side tires. They're actually going to lift the hood up and take the cooler and dump the water on top of the radiator, try to cool it off and pull some tape off the grill. Alan?
That's Bill Venturini in the red cap right in front of you, the former ARCA Series champion, directing the efforts for his son's team.
All right, let's spray some water on that radiator and see if we can cool that thing off, is what Bill said.
How about the 2-tire stops?
Left side tire stops.
And evidently, Rick Corelli didn't change any tires. I would guess it was fuel only.
Strategy. Going to mix up the running order. We'll come back to Talladega in a minute on TNT. Here's our AC Delco NASCAR Busch Series update. Kevin Harvick in command of the championship with 4 races to go. The Busch Series heading to Phoenix, Arizona 1 week from today. You will see it. Rick Corelli on a little bit of a different pit stop schedule than the other leaders. Dave?
Alan, it was not planned. Rick came down pit road. He did not see his pit stall as crew chief Kevin Buskirk was talking to him, and he drove on by. So he went back out on the track. They decided to come back in, put on 2 tires only to save time. They also made a track bar adjustment because the car was a little bit tight. But Rick said on the radio, my fault. I was looking down pit lane. You were talking to me, and I missed the stall.
Man. Don't you just hate that?
I hate that. That's why I have them count down.
That's
when I get like 8 away. They go 8, 7, 6, 5. I know I'm getting close.
That's a mistake you might expect from one of the more inexperienced drivers, but not from a veteran like Corelli. He's been doing this a long time. All right, set to go. The leader is the 60 car of Rick Markle. Did not pit under the caution. The 48 of Donnie Morlock is second. Then Jason Jarrett, Bobby Gerhart, and Andy Kirby, the top 5. Look at this, Jarrett flaring out wide. Gonna try and get some of the traffic on the start. He got boxed in. And Gerhart gets by him. Jarrett's crew getting him off pit road ahead of Gerhart. Gone to waste.
Oh, no!
Trouble. Seeger's in trouble in the 04. They're locked together and stay right there on the apron.
And that was Bob Kelly, the 17 car, that made contact with him. And I don't think I've ever seen 2 cars locked together on a super speedway.
They put 2 tires on and go, and that leaves a lap in a hurry. I mean,
that was because they weren't even up to speed yet. Right? They had just come across the start-finish line. They weren't even up to full speed.
It looked like 2 cars on a half-mile racetrack.
That's how they got away with it.
That's how they slowed down so fast.
Yeah.
8 tires is better than 4.
So back around to the caution flag again. And let's go back and take a look at what happened over there in turn number 2.
I think we can watch and still not figure out what might have happened over there. I guess the 04 car did not expect someone on the outside of him. And when Damon Lusk drove up on the outside, well, it's like he was clear of him already.
Yeah. It couldn't be that he didn't expect him there because he was right there in 3/4 in front of him.
By him. He was practically by him already.
Something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a mystery.
See, I mean, he's there.
And all of a sudden,
car just moved on him.
I think as the car...
Would he have been changing gears?
Should have been in high gear.
Should have been in high gear already?
Then.
Okay, all right. Just asking.
Could have been. That's a very possibility. That is a possibility that he was dragging it down into 4th gear. When he did it, the car veered over to the right, and he jerked it to try to avoid spinning out Damon Lusk in the 15. Listen to this.
And so Keith Seegers has brought his car back around to the pit lane. Get some help from the Kodak team today. One of their former cars and their crew doing the service. Bobby Gerhardt took the lead coming back to the caution flag. He's back out in front at Talladega. Was wondering what I was going to watch on TV tonight in the hotel room. There you go.
There we go.
Get a first look at MJ back on the court. Tonight at 8 Eastern time on TNT. Rick Corelli back on pit road. Dave?
Yeah, that wreck over off turn 2 was a big break for him because they only took 2 tires last time. Now they put on 2 left side tires and a piece of red tape on the front of the grill. He was running a little bit short on water temperature. He was only running 200 degrees. The guys like to see about 215 to 220 in terms of water temperature, so that tape will help build heat in the motor. Matt?
Dave, we've well documented this weekend the rookie Casey Mears trial by fire as he starts his ARCA career here, looking to move into Busch Series competition next year. One rookie experience took place on his pit stop. He came out 15th. It was not a slow stop because his crew guys had trouble. It was because he was waiting for a crew member to give him a hand signal. In IndyCar and open wheel racing, normally a crew member will stand near the front of the car. When the stop is completed, they will give the driver a hand signal. And Wally, you know from your father's experience, that's normally what you look for, and the crew is telling him to go, 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 but he was waiting for a hand signal.
That's right, Matt. Your signal is that guy that's standing right in front of you. Usually that guy's either adjusting a wing or whatever, but he'll hold you and he'll look down pit lane behind you, make sure you're clear when you come out of the pits. Obviously, it's something to do in a cup car, but that's right. It's probably what he was looking at.
And in a stock car, the driver's signal to go is when that jack hits the ground. That's your time to hit the gas and let it rip. Back in a minute. For today's race is high above Talladega Superspeedway in the Budweiser.com airship, brought to you by Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Be a nice day to be out there cruising around in the blimp. Let's take a look at Law and Order on TNT.
Find him guilty, ladies and gentlemen.
Nail it down, and we've got a motive.
Get caught up with Law and Order Monday through Thursday nights at 8 on TNT. We are back under green. Bobby Gerhardt is the leader in the 5 car. Second is Donnie Morlock. Jason Jarrett is third. Andy and Stuart Kirby are 4th and 5th. And here comes Jarrett to challenge Morlock for second. Jarrett in the purple and gold car, the 67 machine.
James Hilton. James Harvey Hilton of NASCAR Winston Cup Racing
in South Carolina. Former winner here.
Yes,
right?
he did.
At Talladega. 49 cars, Andy Kirby. He's trying to get third away from Morlock. He will do so. Stuart Kirby is with him in the 75. And then it's C.W. Smith, former Pennsylvania State Trooper in the 8 car.
Like Damon Lusk on the outside of Morlock, trying to take a spot away in the light blue 15 car.
There's Frank Kimmel, ARCA Series champion, the bright orange number 46. 9th place as we ride with him.
And he's following Richard Mitchell out of West Virginia. That white car directly in front of Kimmel.
Brewston Mills, West Virginia.
Where is that? Is it around Morgantown? This is Chad Blunt. And let's see, a replay. What are we going to see? Oh,
wow.
The 1 car of Andy Belmont almost making contact with the 06 car of Tim Mitchell.
Oh, I think there was contact there.
Oh, okay.
Certainly.
And Tina Gordon had a good look at that in the 22 car.
Mr. Mitchell probably thankful for Andy Belmont's vast experience on these big tracks that they both got away with that one. Here comes Kimmel. Talked to Frank extensively this morning. He said they had a hard time in final practice getting this car to lead a group. He would go as fast as the car behind him would push him, but he couldn't get out front and lead a group. We saw that incident a moment ago involving Andy Belmont in the one car. He's on pit road. Dave?
Alan, he hasn't had a very good weekend so far. He qualified only 35th best, and right now he radioed in, told the crew, check to see if the oil pump valve has fallen off or something. It is definitely in the motor, but he just shut it off and is letting the crew go to work right now. So far, no other communication from them, so they're still checking it over.
Richard Mitchell, 54, about to lose another spot as the 66 of Straight and Kimmel hook up together, and Chad Blunt in the 77 is going wicked. And they're all saying, goodbye.
Chad Blunt, a 22-year-old from northern Indiana. Background racing late models and super late models at the Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan, track that Johnny Benson's now a part owner of.
Oh, Chuck Weber around and around and around and around, and he comes to a stop.
And didn't hit anything.
And that's a good thing. He looked like he's, I don't know if that was a paint job or tire marks in front of the left rear tire.
Yeah, if he didn't hit nothing on that deal, then he's made some contact somewhere along the way.
Caution flag is out. They're racing back around to the yellow, or they're slowing back down to the yellow. You don't race to the yellow in ARCA, so
there you go. I was going to correct you.
Yes, you were, and I knew you wouldn't hesitate either.
You saw me sit up on the edge of the seat, just couldn't wait to correct you.
Believe me, folks, there's no restrictor plate on Benny or Wally when it's an opportunity to correct me. But the one thing you didn't hear before was them during the commercial saying how they thought I had correctly diagnosed the situation that led to that last caution.
But we haven't confirmed that
yet.
We
haven't confirmed that.
I said you thought that.
But we got our best man working on the job, so.
There you go.
Or maybe a best gal, I'm not sure.
All right, Chuck Weber, Texas driver, soldiers on to all of these races, one of the true independents in this business. Now, this was a lap before his spin. Watch this.
Randall Ritter. Oh, that's where the tire marks came from. He gets into the side of the 31 car, and all those Hoosier tires rub the left side of the 24 car. All right, now let's go forward to the wreck. Here he is off turn 4.
What if he had a tire go down?
Right rear tire is flat.
Yep.
Of course, he banged the guy on the left side.
Yeah,
that might be why he was trying to get out of the way down the front stretch when he ran in to the side of Randall Ritter.
Well, he wasn't getting out of the way quick there. No.
Little 180-mile-an-hour spin for you.
Good place to do it.
1 360, 2 360s, 3 360s. Chuck Weber drove it away. Andy Belmont looks like his day is done in the AOL car. Still under caution here at the Talladega Superspeedway, cleaning up after the Chuck Weber spin off of turn number 4. Let's go to Liz Allison.
Talladega is the home of the Walk of Fame park built in 1994 in downtown Talladega, Alabama. This park is a beautiful landscape outdoor area that honors a lot of NASCAR's greatest like Richard Petty and Junior Johnson. This is a special place because fans get to vote for their favorite driver here. And as we were walking through that park there, we saw a lot of names and also realized that Ricky Rudd will be inducted into that Walk of Fame this evening. And as we rounded the last corner, we found our very own Benny Parsons. Alan, it was a bronzed Benny Parsons at the Walk of Fame.
And he's even smiling.
Whose picture is that?
Who did they use for that picture, I wonder?
Bronzed Benny Parsons.
Bronzed. But that was really a huge honor back whenever that happened.
Yeah.
And
it's a nice little park.
It's a great little park. As a matter of fact, I get to go over tonight and be a part of the induction ceremony with Ricky Rudd.
There you go.
And Joe Weatherly.
What are you shaking your head at? You're not on the Walk of Fame.
It's something behind the camera. I owe Mike Helton.
Oh, you owe him big.
I give him a lot of credit for that one.
Okay, just behind that camera is the window where the NASCAR control tower is. And let's just say that
you got me on that one.
Okay, there you go. All right, so far we've had kind of a halting start to this one. There's the control tower, right, the one behind where the light's on. Had kind of a halting start to this one, a little trouble getting going. First few laps clean, then once we've got the first caution, they've kind of stacked up from there.
But Bobby Gerhardt has shown all along why his car, that 5 car, was on the pole, because he has been very, very fast. Now we see Jason Jarrett up in 2nd spot, and that's basically what we've seen for the first 30 laps of this 37 laps we've run.
You want to tell us publicly what Mike was doing?
I don't think he does either.
Okay. Okay. All right. Bobby Gerhardt and Jason Jarrett have been the dominant 2 in this one so far. They were out in front as a solo draft. Just the 2 cars. And then the caution came out, brought the field back to them.
Mike Helton might have heard that crack about the helmet and uniform. Anyway, just for a thought. Marty, what's going on down there?
Help.
Well, guys, there's been a lot of talk about safety lately, obviously, and Jason Jarrett's team is trying something new today. All of these cars have an internal fuel bladder, which protects the fuel cell, if you will. Jason's team is running an external fuel bladder this week. It covers the fuel cell and the fuel filler neck, and it was the idea of the folks at Safety Clean, made by the folks at BSR Products. It has a liquid absorbent blanket wrapped inside a ballistic Kevlar covering. The idea is if any fuel gets out of the fuel cell for any reason, that covering and the blanket inside of it should absorb any of the fuel and cause any fire that might cause in Jason Jarrett's car. One of a kind, and it's in Jason Jarrett's car today. Green flag on the track.
And we'll hope he doesn't ever get to test it out.
Yes, isn't that the case? Isn't that true?
Bobby Gerhardt, Jason Jarrett, Andy Kirby, Stuart Kirby, and C.W. Smith are the top 5. 49 is Andy Kirby, 75 is Stuart Kirby. That's 3rd and 4th.
And as far as I know, no relation to those battling Kirbys.
Working their way through some of the lap traffic. The 8 is C.W. Smith, and the black car there, the 66, that's Bob Strait. He runs in 6th. And we've got Damon Lusk, Frank Kimmel, Richard Mitchell, and Chad Blunt rounding out the top 10. The 4 car there, Justin Labonte, 29th place, 2 laps down to the race leader. Had a fitting come loose on his car and made an unscheduled pit stop earlier. Champion of the series this year, Frank Kimmel, 3 wide to the inside.
Kimmel just can't get anyone to go with him. He's tried the low side many, many times, but they all line up on the outside. Must be something about being the champion that these guys don't like.
Maybe being 1,200 points ahead, too.
When you've won 10 out of 23 races, people probably aren't going to help you a whole lot. Dave, how about it?
Alan, how about not being in a Pontiac? That's the explanation right there. He's not driving a Pontiac. He's not going to the front.
I like Benny's reason better. I think
you better find some help soon. He's going to the back. Look at this. Corelli's gone by. Tuck in there. Frank.
Billy Kimmel is back on the racetrack.
Billy Kimmel, that's Frank Scrucci.
Yes, I'm sorry. Billy Venturini in the 25.
There you go.
Thank you very much. And you know, Frank looks like he's in danger of losing this crash.
Something going on there. He's fallen well back.
Yes.
He pulled up, tried to make that pass, and then just straight back. Although, now that he's sort of back in the draft again, here he comes. It's all the way back to 14th place.
Report is that he hasn't said anything on the radio about what might be wrong with the car.
15 car light blue machine. Damon Lusk trying to lead a charge to the inside. With Kimmel and Corelli now back at the tail end of this line. Frank Kimmel has won 5 of the last 7 races in the ARCA series.
Gosh, nobody's helping him.
What a shock. You talk about an enviable record, Wally. 97 point runner-up. 98 champion. 99-point runner-up, 2000 champion, 2001 champion.
They've got a really good race team, and Frank's a really good driver, and got a lot of patience and knows how to run these races.
Dave.
Oh, I'm with Bill Kimmel, Frank's crew chief. How come nobody will go with you, Bill?
I'm not really sure. Sometimes it looks like we're right in the way, but we've struggled a little bit all week. The Advanced Auto Parts Sport car just hasn't been as good as it should have been. We'll keep struggling all day long and try to soldier home a decent finish, but it doesn't look like we're convinced to win today.
It's not because you're in a Chevrolet, is it, that they're not going with you?
No, we're in a Ford today.
Oh, well, okay. Is it because you're not in a Pontiac?
That could be. I mean, we can't catch the Pontiacs to even draft with them today, so we'll sit there and do the best we can. You get called on a line here, and nobody's your partner no more, so we'll be all right.
All right. Now, Wally, I tried to get you back on that because you like Benny's explanation better, but
you blew it.
I still think I'm right. Yeah, I blew it.
Yep,
yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Well, after the race, we'll go down and we'll explain to you what cars what the emblems mean on them.
What's that blue oval? That one's the... Yeah, then there's like a diamond, and that's a...
Okay.
So that's actually... Okay.
All right, that's enough out of you, Burns. You've had your chance. Frank Kimmel trying to work on Robert Burrows in the 53. This will be for 12th spot. And remember that Justin Labonte in that 4 is a couple of laps down. Next lead lap car in line will be Casey Mears in the white number 91.
Warren Bennett in the 84 car. The green and black car in front of Casey Mears.
Long-time campaigner, Winston Cup, ARCA, out of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. Benning currently 5th in ARCA points with 2 races to go in the season. Bobby Gerhardt and Jason Jarrett are your top 2 in Talladega on TNT. Tomorrow from Talladega, it's NASCAR Winston Cup Series action on NBC. The EA Sports 500, presented by Dodge. Stacy Compton and Bobby Hamilton are on the front row for that one. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Daytona winner, starts 6th. Jeff Gordon, the point leader, starts 11th. See it all starting at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC tomorrow. Coming up on halfway. In the Food World 300 for the ARCA REMAX Series, the leader is Bobby Gerhardt. He's led 44 of the 47 laps so far. This is the race for 10th position on that. Warren Bennett in the 84, Casey Mears in the 91, and the series champion Frank Kimmel in the 46.
And contact almost between Casey Mears and Warren Bennett.
What was it you said Casey was going to be
Casey, I looked like Casey was trying to get on the high side more Benning, and I was just trying to tell Casey, stay right there. Norm's got a lot of laps.
Just ahead of them, the 9th place car, the 77 of Chad Blunt, has just fallen back to this group. And that's Robert Burrows in the purple and gold 53, going to try the top side.
Casey, they're all over. Oh, and Robert almost lost it off turn 2.
Wow.
You see that car get loose up there? Brewster, be careful.
Casey's trying to find a place in line. And he'd be best just to get back at the end of this line.
And that will happen when you're a rookie at Talladega. You have to protect your outside lane when you're going into these corners, because you think you're on the outside, you're okay, but all of a sudden you become the man in the middle when that car behind you swings up on the right side, takes that high lane away from you. And then you're stuck in the middle and you go right to the back.
Billy Venturini in the 25 on pit road for a long time with the overheating problems, but still picking his way up through the field. He's on the lead lap.
All that time that he spent trying to get the thing cool, at least was on the caution flag.
Yep. And Justin Labonte just letting the lead lap cars go through.
Casey doesn't really have going for him. Unfortunately, when you've got that yellow sticker on your rear bumper, a lot of guys don't want to ride behind you.
Casey, the 23-year-old nephew of the 4-time Indy 500 winner, Rick Mears. A couple of months ago, basically wasn't doing anything in racing. Now, he's got a lot of things going on. He's subbing for Alex Zanardi in the Morris Nunn racing car on the kart circuit after Zanardi had that nasty crash over in Germany. Got the ride here from Wayne Jessel to come do this ARCA Series race. They're trying to possibly put together a Busch Series program for him next year. So let's see. He's been back and forth from Houston to Charlotte to Laguna Seca to Charlotte. He's getting ready to go to Australia to run the Champ car. He's got a lot going on.
He's doing a good job today. A real good job today.
23-year-old, good-looking kid who can drive a race car fast, and he's got a well-known name.
Pretty good combination.
Not bad. And Casey has fallen back to 14th place right now, but again, he's on the lead lap. We've only got 21 of the 41 starters that are on the lead lap at this point.
And the 91 crew is basically the same crew that Jeffrey Bodine uses in the NASCAR Busch Series. Donnie Richardson and his crew. And I think that is one of Jeffrey Bodine's cars.
Boy. Lesson learned right there, huh?
Yep.
Here's Frank Kimmel, ARCA Series champion for 2001, running in 10th place. We ride with him for a lap around Talladega.
77 car is Chad Blunt. As Kimmel goes in the corner behind him. 77 car is a Dodge.
Frank's car draws up on the bumper really good, but lost him going through 3 and 4 there.
Like I said, he told me this morning he's okay in behind someone, but he can't run fast when he's the one that's leading the draft. And then, you know, not being an aerodynamicist, but you just sit here and wonder, how can that be? You'd think a good car is a good car no matter where in that position you are.
And the worst thing in the world happened to Frank Kimmel. He tried to make the pass and didn't get it done, did not get the pass accomplished. So now they're just losing valuable time as they ride along side by side.
Rick Corelli closing in behind them.
Kimmel should be loose right here, being that close.
We saw the 84 car of Norm Bennett a little bit ago and talked about how well he was running. He's just been black flagged by the ARCA Remax officials. His right window has come out of the car.
And you got to have it.
Where did it go?
I don't know. It's not there.
Maybe some lucky fan has it. Unless it blew inside the car.
The way the track is banked, probably hit the speedway and slid right down into the infield. They're made of Lexan. They're not made of glass, so it's not like it was going to shatter into a bunch of pieces like glass would. So probably just cleaned itself right off the track. Let's check the race for 7th place. Damon Lusk in the 15, about to lose a spot to Richard Mitchell in the 54. Car is Nate Monteith. He's the first car one lap down back in 22nd place. Marty?
Hey, Wally, does that 15 car of Damon Lusk look familiar to you?
Yes, it does, Marty.
It should. That's the car that Wally Dallenbach used to push Dale Jarrett to the victory in the 1996 Daytona 500. And I think Damon's doing a fine job in your old car today, Wally.
I think he is, too. That's a very good speedway car. And Dale Jarrett never even sent me a Christmas card that year.
You're driving for Bud Moore back then.
Yep.
And then that became the Fenley Moore Racing team, and Damon Lusk had been doing some work with them when that team shut down as part of his sort of severance from them. They gave him a race car. He had sort of been their developmental driver. They were hoping that he was their future.
And that was one of those cars we were talking about earlier that it qualified not very well. But boy, that car was very fast in traffic. When it was around other cars, it just felt like grab another gear and go.
And right now he's managed to fend off Mitchell for that 7th position. Bobby Gerhardt has dominated so far the ARCA race at Talladega. Caution. In the ARCA 300-miler, Billy Venturini has just crashed in turn 1.
I would say that was a big bogey. Might even be a quadruple bogey.
See Billy moving around, removing his safety equipment inside the car. What happened?
There we see him on the inside, and he makes contact with Frank Kimmel. And the car, oh my goodness gracious,
wow.
Someone just barely got by.
He's running in 10th place at the time.
That was a 77 car, I think, of Chad Blunt.
Well, they're both passing that slower car, obviously. It's hard to see.
Kimmel, it looked like Kimmel figured they were clear of the lap car and held his line, and Billy had to, you know, didn't think he was clear and stayed up.
But there was plenty of room.
Yeah, just, you know, I mean, Kimmel didn't really come down to me. But Billy wanted to be safe and leave that lap car some extra room, yeah, I think. On board Frank Kimmel.
Doesn't take much, does it?
Oh, it sure doesn't. And Billy Venturini basically spun himself out by trying to get away from Frank Kimmel. And watch this 77 car. Watch this as he barely gets hot. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yahoo.
But I think Billy was didn't want to hit the 46 so hard that he jerked the car trying to get away from the 46 car. And we see that so many times. The drivers actually spinning themselves out.
But Billy is going to climb from that one okay, which is good news. And now we come up to pit stops for the leaders. We're just across halfway. 58 complete, 56 to go. And it'll be Gerhardt and Jarrett coming down. Remember last time, Jarrett took right side tires. Gerhardt only took lefts.
I would think that these guys right now would change 4 tires because I don't believe they have to stop anymore. They can make it the rest of the way.
Dave Burns.
Andy Kirby gives up 3rd position. They will make a 4-tire stop. They discussed whether or not to stay out, but they realized they'd have too many laps on their tires after another fuel run. They cannot make it to the end of the fuel. They will have to come again. Matt?
Dave, a 4-tire change for Jason Jarrett. They will not make any adjustments, just pull the tear off the windshield because it was dirty, and they're going to pack it full of fuel. They feel they can go the distance. To Marty Snyder.
Bobby Gerhardt's guys practiced for 6 hours last Saturday. Right side tires only. They get it full of fuel and no adjustments. He stalls leaving pit road, but still wins the race off pit road by a bunch. To Dave.
Tina Gordon is in her just experienced crew, puts a 4-tire stop together, make a slight adjustment to help her get the car around better. They had a bad stop earlier, which put her way back. This one's a little bit better.
So Bobby Gerhardt getting just 2 tires again. And the man who has dominated this event so far will come off pit lane first. Talked with Tina Gordon this morning. She said the object was to finish all 300 miles today, and so far she's doing just that. Nothing substitutes for experience here. Billy Venturini just had an experience of the kind he'd rather not enjoy again. Fourth caution of today's Food World 300 at Talladega for the ARCA Remax Series. This one when Billy Venturini tangled with Frank Kimmel racing into turn 1 and got the worst end of it.
All right, watch these 2 cars. The black car on the inside. They're going down in turn 1. They clear the black car. Kimmel thinks that the 25 car is already clear. Is going to go to the bottom of the racetrack, and he goes to the middle of the track. And Venturini was, again, trying to give that lap car a little room. Stayed up about the middle, and that's where they met, in the middle of the racetrack.
Now, this is not the first incident we've seen in turn 1 today. This was NASCAR Winston Cup final practice.
22 car makes contact. Wartburg makes contact with the white car, Jeff Purvis. Purvis across the racetrack. The 43, the 2, the 5, the 44, the 36, the 29, the 97.
Sounds like bingo.
Yeah, bingo.
It was. Just nobody won any prizes.
Man, no, they didn't win any prizes. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got the opportunity to take their backup car out for tomorrow's race. Guys involved in that accident during final practice, most all of those you see will take out backup cars. There are a couple of exceptions. Kevin Harvick's team was fixing their machine. Buckshot Jones's team was looking to fix their machine, and I believe the Kurt Busch team would fix theirs also. 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow, the EA Sports 500 presented by Dodge. You'll see it from Talladega on NBC. celebrity of today's ARCA 300-miler, dominated so far by Bobby Gerhardt. He and Jason Jarrett have held the top 2 spots for most of the race. In fact, they've only given it up on an exchange of pit stops. 4 caution flags, the most recent of which when Billy Venturini crashed in turn 1, and a lot of guys out of the race. Seen some pretty heavy mechanical attrition in this one. One of the big stories as we look at those out of the race and go back under the green flag, Justin Labonte had an oil leak on his car. He's a couple of laps down after starting on the outside of the front row. A couple of cars did not pit. The 31 is Randall Ritter. He's one of them. He is the leader. Did not stop under the caution flag. Ritter from Franklin, Tennessee. And here comes Jason Jarrett, going to pop out of line to try and get his way up toward the front behind Justin Labonte. 31 is Ritter, 5 is Gerhardt, 15 is Damon Lusk, 4 is Justin Labonte, and 67 is Jason Jarrett.
I thought the 67 was going to jump in behind the 4 here.
That's what Marty reported earlier, that he was waiting for Justin Labonte to get up there to work with him.
Almost stuck his nose in and made it 3 wide, and it didn't look like there was a lot of room. And Jason Jarrett wisely backed off and said, ooh, that was close.
There's Damon Lusk in that blue 15 car taking a peek. Which way is the train going to go? Here goes Gerhardt. Kind of knew that was just a matter of time.
Yep, it sure was.
Randall, goodbye.
43-year-old Bobby Gerhardt of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, the 1988 ARCA Rookie of the Year. Daytona winner, 1999. He's got 28 Winston Cup starts on his racing resume as well. And he loves these big, fast racetracks.
He's the winner of the ARCA rematch race at Daytona 2 or 3 years ago.
That would be 1999.
Mr. Statistic had that, just waiting for you to.
Actually, I just said it about 8 seconds before he did, but that's okay.
Oh, well, that just show I wasn't paying attention either.
Nobody listens to me.
Yeah, why? Why do you think that is, Howard?
Because you can't stand it when I'm right.
And it's not very often.
Thank you. You're not doing much for my credibility here, Wall.
I know. I'm doing all I can. Don't have much to work with.
Here comes Bob Strait. 66 car, and we haven't seen him up in the top 3 or 4 in a little bit.
Casey News, the 91 car, and Andy Kirby, 49 car, trying their best to wreck down in the short chute.
This is for 6th place between the 49 and 91. Andy Kirby in that 49 car, 3-time former track champion at the Nashville Speedway. Gonna lose a couple of spots. Mears and C.W. Smith both go by. Kirby in the 75, Robert Burrows in the 53, also joining in this group. Of course, Kirby and that Bob Shack going to trouble. One spinning in the tri-oval. 31 car, Randall Ritter.
Don't go back across. Good thing there's a lot of asphalt down there now. That used to be grass until what, 5 or 6 years ago? And Randall can drive his car to the pit area, and he can put 4 fresh tires on that car because all 4 of them are flat.
Because he left them on the straightaway.
Remember, he didn't pit on that last caution. He was out there on older tires. I wonder if he cut one down or just the older tires just got away from him. Not often that you see a car just spin by itself in the tri-oval here. Used to be years ago before the big spoilers got put on them.
Let's see if we can find that out, Alan.
Nate Monteith, the 44 car, goes on the outside and just took air off the spoiler.
Absolutely. It's exactly what he did. And they had a run on him. And when you have a run on a car like that, when you rush up on a car, you actually can lift the rear of the car up. That was kind of after that. They ran up on him.
Got behind on his steering at that point.
Yep.
You know what it says on the quarter panel? Miss Audrey's fried pies.
I've never had that. I know you have. How good is it?
Not bad.
Eat fried pies.
There you go.
Saw that rubber bouncing around?
Yeah.
And here's where you really do some damage. Trying to get back to the pits with flat tires.
Oh, this is the...
That's the spin. That's before he spun. I wonder if...
Frank Kimmel saying, thank goodness he didn't keep coming back to the right like he looked like he was going. It looks like that Randall's going to have a record to get him back to the pit area.
Well, 3 of the 4 tires are flat, so he's going to have a hard time driving that one back around. Liz?
Hey guys, you were talking about the fried pies. Let me give you the story on the fried pies. Randall Ritter, his car is owned by Carl Alexander, who moved from Oklahoma to Tennessee to be near Vanderbilt University to help in the treatment of his 8-year-old daughter, Audrey, who has spina bifida. The car is sponsored by Miss Audrey's Fried Pies, and that is Audrey, and she is painted on the hood of the car, and I know she's watching today, so hello, Audrey.
Well, there you go.
There it is.
I didn't know that Liz would know anything about the fried pies. She didn't know about the fried pies. She knew about Miss Audrey. I, on the other hand, knew about the fried pies.
That's right. Go to the source.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite?
Apple.
Yes.
Apple?
Yes. All right.
That's what he said. Yeah. Yes.
47 laps to go. Bobby Gerhardt leads here in Talladega. Talladega Superspeedway, 68 laps down, 46 to go in today's ARCA 300-miler. And most all of the leaders have stayed on track under this caution. There's Justin Labonte on pit road getting service. A couple of laps down in 23rd position after an oil fitting came loose earlier in the race. While we're having a look at Justin, let's hear from his father, Terry, whom we talked with earlier this weekend about the advice he's given Justin heading into today's race.
Biggest thing I told him, you know, just, man, watch out for everything. And, you know, before you see somebody crossed up out there or something, just, you know, be on your toes the whole time. In the ARCA series there, the fast cars some of them are quite a bit faster than some of the other cars, so they're going to catch some traffic pretty fast, and you know that's going to be a little bit of a concern because you know when we catch cars over here, everybody's about the same speed, but over there there's some that are a little bit slower, so they're going to be spread out a little bit more. But you know, like I said, there's 4 or 5 guys there that are really pretty good, so hopefully he can just get in that pack there and stay with those guys.
Reaction?
That's nice. Well, he's talking about the closure rate, and it really is. In NASCAR Winston Cup, there's only 3 or 4 miles per hour between the fastest car and the slowest car. In this deal, you've got 25, 30 mile per hour disparity in speed.
And you saw what happened when Billy Venturini wrecked. You had a car that was quite a bit slower, and here comes the pack, and that one split second that Billy didn't turn the car down because Frank thought he was going to drive down there. That's what caused the wreck. As a slower car was involved, although he was out of the way, it had something to do with it.
Justin, unfortunately, back in 24th place, a couple of laps down. Randall Ritter's car being assisted back to the garage area. The restart when we come back.
Talladega Superspeedway for ARCA Series action. And rookie Casey Mears so far has earned an A+, running in the 6th position, but he cannot go the distance on fuel. As crew chief Donnie Richardson thought about pitting under this caution, but he's too concerned about traffic in the back and possibly Casey getting involved in that traffic. So they're going to ride right now in the 6th position and see what happens to Dave.
Matt, earlier I reported that Andy Kirby could not make it on fuel, but Jimmy Means, his crew chief, just radioed to him, and he said with these caution laps, we can make it on fuel. fuel now, and he might have a good shot. He was running third earlier, and this car once won the Bud Shootout with Jimmy Spencer behind the wheel. Marty?
Dave, keep an eye on Stuart Kirby. He's doing a great job. Last time he came down pit road running fourth, overshot his pits, restarted 14th. Now he's back up to 9th, and he's got Bob Schatt barking in his ear on the radio, and Bob Schatt's won a few of these races before, Alan.
Yes, he has. Set to go back at it. 43 laps to go on the restart. Gerhardt, Lusk, Jarrett, Corelli, and Strait are the top 5.
And look at all those cars up against that outside retaining wall, trying to make sure that no one gets that outside position on them.
Bobby Gerhardt has led 62 of the 71 laps so far. Led 6 laps. Randall Winter led 2, both of them by staying out on the track under pit stops after Gerhardt came in. No one has passed that 5 car for the lead all day.
Yeah, they're going to have to, I don't even know if they can gang up on it to get by.
I don't know if the 15 and 67, the 2 cars that are running second and third, as Ronnie said, both of them together might not be able to pass the 5 car. I don't know what that Gerhardt and his brother Billy have done to this 5 car. But this is the best I've ever seen it run on a super speedway. Marty?
Benny, the answer is they've done a lot to this 5 car. You know that 2 months ago, this car was a Chevrolet. They took it to Daytona during an ARCA test for Hoosier Tire, and they said, that's not going to work. We have got to change this to a Pontiac. So they called Pontiac. Pontiac said, sure, here's the sheet metal. They built a Pontiac in just over a little 2 months. And 8 days ago, this car was raw metal. They have pulled 3 all-nighters. And we're not talking about a Winston Cup team. This is 5 guys. They pulled 3 all-nighters to get this car ready for here, and they were so pleased and relieved that it ran well the first lap on the track.
It has run very well every lap on the track so far. But he's got 42 to go. Long way from the finish here.
I don't know, BP. If I'm David Lusk, I'd be asking Jason to help me to see if we got anything for him right now, just to check him out.
They need to try. You're right. They need to try and see if there's any way they can get by.
Top 7 cars putting a little bit of a gap on the rest of the pack.
That car that's 4th in line, the red car, is Nate Monteith. He is a lap down. Rick Corelli, the 05 rematch car, is in fact in 4th place. Bob Strait, the black 66, is in 5th.
And you've got Casey Mears in 6th. Andy Kirby in 7th. Stuart Kirby in 8th. Frank Kimmel in 9th. And Tina Gordon back up to 10th. '44 car Monteith, young driver, 19 years old. Been running local weekly competition around the Bristol, Tennessee area this past season. Comes from a go-karting background, as so many young drivers do. In the middle of all the leaders.
Guys are going to have to work together on this deal.
And Corelli comes to get on the inside of the 44 and allowed Bob Strait to move up on the outside and take that position away. And Kirby, the 49 car, on the bottom, the 3 wide in the trial.
Oh, it's going to be close. Casey Mears in the 91 has got all of 75 laps of racing experience here at Talladega.
Frank Kimmel had the fastest speed that time, back in the 9th position.
Here's Jason Jarrett trying to do away with the lap car and get 2nd spot away from Damon Lusk. Bob Strait going with him in the 66. Jarrett to 2nd, Strait to 3rd. Here's Andy Kirby in the 49 to 4th. And Stuart Kirby going to try and fill that spot down low also. Frank Frank Kimmel closer to the front than he's been all day.
And Tina Gordon goes by Damon Lusk. That's Tina in the black, number 22.
And now Corelli and Lusk going to try and pick their momentum back up and get going again. Plenty of time to get back up there. 38 laps to go. So how close do you draft at Talladega? Watch this. At 190 miles an hour.
That would be what the drivers refer to as bump drafting, hitting that car in front of you and just giving him a little shot, which really truly does make his car run a little bit faster.
Kind of like Wally does to you on the way to the racetrack in the morning, right?
Uh-huh. And it does make you faster.
77, Chad Blunt on the lead lap, trying to get a spot from Damon Lusk in the 15. This is 10th place.
Mike Buckner, 28, out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. He's on the lead lap.
Let's go to Dave Burns.
Alan, Norm Benning pulled the car back in an opening in pit road that isn't normally used to pull the cars off the track, and had a little trouble getting it turned in. And sure enough, he was suffering from a little heat exhaustion, and so medical team is going to go ahead and help Norm out of the car now and attend to him. In doing so, as he was coming in, he swiped the fencing a little bit, actually ran over our pointer PK, who sends a signal back across the track from my camera here. PK is being checked over as well. We're pretty sure that his foot is okay. They just want to take a look at it. But Norm, suffering from heat exhaustion, really didn't have full control of the car when he brought it by.
Man.
Probably outside.
I suppose. I mean, the car is not hot enough out there that we should have some type of trouble with heat exhaustion today, but
so maybe getting some fumes inside the car, and that a problem for Norm Benning. We'll hope he's okay. Liz?
I'm with Bill Venturini, or Billy Venturini. Billy, you took a good little look out there. You okay?
I'm feeling fine. The Golden Bear Golf, Garth Brooks Chevrolet was running really well. We were pretty good today. So had a little problem with overheating at the beginning, so I had to let the car drift to the back. And then we got right back up there, ran all the way back up, probably about 10th or so. And we were plenty good to finish in the top 5. I was kind of disappointed. Justin kind of hung me out right there, and then I got stuck next to Frank, and it wasn't Frank's fault. It wasn't Frank's fault. It was just one of them deals where we went down the corner. I had a slow car on the inside that was, since I couldn't get down as low as I wanted to, we went in close. He had a little bit of air off my front nose, and he came down, I came up, and we touched, and I wrecked, and he keeps going, so at least got the better end of that deal for him. But we'll go on to Atlanta. We're going to run good there. I think we're going to win that race. I'll go ahead and say it. We come close to Charlotte, where our teams have really been hot lately. Had a problem here. We got to stay away from these TNT races. You guys are doing Atlanta, so maybe we won't have as good luck as I want to have, because been here at Charlotte in this race, and good cars, and end up sitting here wrecked and talking to either you or Matt or whoever too soon.
Shame on you. Lucy has a good humor about it, Alan.
All right, Liz. Billy, we're going to be in Atlanta live. Do your best. Bobby Gerhart has dominated the ARCA race in Talladega today. He's got 34 laps to go to try and hold off Jason Jarrett. 31 laps to go in the ARCA race at Talladega, with Bobby Gerhart and Jason Jarrett holding down the top 2 spots as they have for much of the afternoon. Bob Strait, Rick Corelli, and Casey Mears are chasing them in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. With Mears now hung up beside Andy Kirby to race for that number 5 spot.
Now here's where somebody needs to crack the throttle just a little bit, get back single file, or they're going to lose that draft.
And Andy Kirby does that. Andy Kirby's best Busch Series finish of the season was here at Talladega back in April. So he's got enough experience here to know.
We've seen these cars, the back end jump out from one of the cars, and Wally and I, oh, he's loose. Well, let me try to explain what we're talking about when we say loose. Let's go inside our Williams virtual garage. Car goes down the corner, preferred line in the green. and all of a sudden the back end would just jump out from under the car, and the driver has to chase the car up the racetrack to try to get the car back under control. So when we yell loose, that's what we're referring to.
Second place, Jason Jarrett getting hung out. Here come Bob Strait and Rick Corelli. One of few laps all day long where Jarrett hasn't run in second place. Shuffled all the way back to fourth.
I wonder if all these cars can make it the rest of the way if it should go green. 30 more laps. But I think they'd probably run enough caution laps that most cars can make it. Matt, what about the 67, Jason Jarrett? Can he make it the rest of the way?
He sure can, Benny. And one thing to keep in mind during practice, Jason Jarrett, Casey Mears, and Justin Labonte work primarily together. Now that Labonte has fallen away from the lead pack, Jarrett does have a drafting partner in the 91 machine. In fact, he was so confident about his abilities, he said at one point, he goes, heck, the guy's gone 230 at California in an IndyCar. ARCA racing at Talladega shouldn't be that tough, but he's very confident, and he knows he's got a dancing partner. The 91 will work with him.
He's got to catch up to him first, Matt. And he is about 8 or 9 car lengths behind. Bob Strait up to second. Man with a winning ride here at Talladega in the past. A couple of years ago he did it. He knows what it takes to get it done. Now, Stuart Kirby was running in 5th place a little while ago. Marty, he's run into some troubles.
And now he's back in 18th, Alan. And what happened? They had to come down pit road and change all 4 tires because Stewart said the car got extremely loose, felt like he had a tire going down. What happened is the right rear tire equalized. These cars are tires with the inner liner and the outer part of the tire, and when the pressure is the same, it gives the driver a very odd feeling, and the pressure was the same in the inner liner and the outer part of the tire as well. That's called an equalized tire, and that's what happened to Stuart Kirby.
It's cost him a lap. 19th place, 1 lap down. Another potential winning contender fallen by the wayside. Right now, it's those 4.
And Casey Mears in the 91 car, I think for him to catch up with these top 4 cars, that he's going to have someone behind him pushing him. And with the air that he get off the 67 car, he might be able to catch him. But as it is, I'm not sure he can catch back up.
Unless they get side by side for 1 lap, and he'll be right there.
Bob Strait up to 2nd spot, Dave.
I just talked to his crew chief, Don Strait. I asked Don, can you guys make it on fuel? He said, not sure. He also went over and he talked to the crew chief on the 05 car and asked if they could work together. And Kevin Buskirk, the crew chief on Rick Corelli's 05, said it's too early to talk about that. We're just riding right now.
Not sure.
Not sure means
no, probably not.
It's going to be close. Well, let's add that element of drama into the finish of this one. Does anybody have enough to pass Bobby Gerhardt, and whose fuel will hold up to the checkered flag? Closing in on the finish at Talladega, 26 laps to go. Three laps to go at Talladega. Bobby Gerhardt, Bob Strait, Rick Corelli, and Jason Jarrett, a 4-car breakaway, trying to settle this one among themselves. Moments ago, close call here in the Tri-Oval, coming down to the start-finish line.
The blue car, Damon Lusk and Robert Burrows, the red car, almost get together. Lusk saw him coming, veered rapidly away from him, and almost spun out.
And did some damage, it looks like, to that right front corner.
This is 6th place. Frank Kimmel in the 46 and Andy Kirby in the 49.
That's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Keep going, 11th, 12th, right there.
Even 13th, I see the 82 car of Robbie Benton back in that. The car at the very end, the black car. A 22-year-old kid, his dad has been with Robert Yates for a long, long time as a weekend warrior. And Robert helped his dad get this car down here for Robbie Benton in the 82.
Chad Blunt.
The Braun mobility punch. Oh, wow. Nate Monteith comes down. They almost make contact. Benton goes by. Here comes Robert Burrow.
Little Talladega lesson there for Chad.
Yes.
Damon Lusk on pit road.
That damage, trying to repair that damage, Wally, that you were talking about.
Your race car's got a fender bend.
What's that?
Your race car has a fender bend.
I know it. They don't like that.
And you didn't even do it. For a man who's been as dominant as Frank Kimmel has in this 2001 ARCA season, today has not been his day. He has never been a threat to get up and race for the lead.
He said that his car, the car he has, the car we ride along with, was very, very good at Daytona. But after Daytona, that's when the ARCA officials made a rule change about the height of the rear of the car. And once they made that, they did make that rule change, the Chevrolet and Fords have not been nearly as competitive as the Pontiacs because of the position of the rear spoiler after the rule change. They basically raised the rear of the car up. The Ford and Chevrolet and Dodge spoilers protruded higher in the air about 2 inches more than the Pontiac because the Pontiac rear deck lid has a dip in it, which allows the spoiler, the center of the rear spoiler, to be about 2 inches lower.
One more victory for Frank Kimmel would put him into a tie for 4th on the all-time ARCA win list. Now a 4-time ARCA Series champion. I know somebody else that's an ARCA champion. Got a bunch of victories in this division to his credit.
Likes fried pies, too.
Yeah. 1968 and 1969 ARCA champion Benny Parsons.
As a matter of Frank Kimmel, who we're right along with now, his dad and I raced together back in the ARCA Series in those years.
And this race continuing on for the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th positions.
And Casey Mears in the 91 car is just about fallen back to this group.
Tina Gordon talked about it at the top of the broadcast. She is running on the lead lap in 14th place right now, Dave.
And Alan doing what she is supposed to do, which is to stay in this race, to stay on the lead lap, and get laps right now. However, I just talked to her crew chief, Bob Bissinger, who says there's a little miss in the motor. They've been trying to diagnose it. She flipped the switch inside the cockpit, which changes the ignition boxes to try to get the fire back in the motor or try to get that skip out of it. Hasn't helped so far. They thought about coming down pit road to change the boxes out, but as long as it's still green and as long as it's still running, Tina's out there getting her laps.
When you've never raced here before, the object is to finish all the possible laps. It makes your experience, next time you come back, you know what to expect and you know how to go racing.
Make it a lot easier the next time by. Casey Mears, as I said, this group is catching him. Well, guess what? They have now, in fact, caught him. And he's lost 4 spots.
And maybe there's a couple of more. C.W. Smith by him. Bobby Benton up to the outside. And we're down to 17 laps to go. Bobby Gerhardt has led all but 8 laps of this one so far. He's got to lead twice that many more to come back to the checkers. 14 laps to go at Talladega as the ARCA REMAX Series nears the conclusion of its 300-miler. 4-car breakaway. Bobby Gerhardt, Bob Strait, Rick Corelli, and Jason Jarrett to try and settle it. Do they have enough fuel to get to the finish? Still a question.
And this is the real race. These guys are going at it as hard as they possibly can. The first 4 still running up there in line, but Kimmel, Casey Mears, still trying their best to get every position they can.
There have been some fender bangings between these cars, some people getting knocked out of shape and saving cars. A little intense. Andy Kirby leads this group. He runs 5th overall. Richard Mitchell is 2nd. They are in the 49 and 54 cars, respectively. The 8 is C.W. Smith. The 91 is Casey Mears. And the 46 is Frank Kimmel.
And Robert Burrows in 53 trying to get up on the outside of Frank Kimmel. And Mears is heading for pit road, the 91 car. Coming down pit road.
Probably for fuel?
I would guess. Don't speed.
Another new experience for him.
Yes.
Green flag pit stop in a stock car. Let's see if they have to wave him away this time. Matt?
He crawls it down pit road at 55 miles per hour. Donnie Richardson, the crew chief, told me this will be only a gas and go. And you see Donnie's up at the left front of the car, giving hand signals, telling Casey when to leave as he pulls away in a lot of smoke. A great run. He entered pit road in the 9th position, Alan.
And where he ends up depends on how many of the other leaders are going to have to stop for a splash of fuel as well.
Well, he's going to end up with the same group of cars that he was running with. I think, unfortunately, he will be a lap down because here comes the leaders.
What a dominant day it's been for Bobby Gerhardt in that 5 car. 93 of 102 laps he's led. Bob Strait, since getting up into 2nd, has appeared quite content to ride behind Gerhardt. So, drivers, is Strait just riding there till we get to the end, or do you think he's using all he can?
He's trying some things right now. He's going high, running low. He's trying some things right now just to try to get some sense of what might work.
I think you're right, Benny. I think he's trying to figure out where he's going to make the move. Where is his car a little bit stronger, maybe, to make the move, but he's definitely going to need help from Pirelli. And then they're up there making deals right now. You don't know who's going to go with who. I think Jason Jarrett and Pirelli would probably take their chances and go with Strait.
Gerhardt just looks so strong.
Yeah, real strong.
Yeah, the problem is when the 66 car of Strait moves around to try to check something out, it looks like that Gerhardt pulls away from it.
You're right.
What about the fuel situation on the front 2? Let's go to Marty.
Well, Bill Gerhardt, first of all, can Bobby make it all the way on fuel for sure?
Yeah, we can make it all the way. Not only is the car fast, it's a miser, so we can make it the whole way. I'd like to just say our prayers and our hearts are with the Alexander family today. What happened last week, tragic for a fellow Pennsylvania driver. Our hearts are with them today.
He knows they're going to gang up on him, but he says first is the place that we want to be. Today Burns.
And we're with Don Strait, who is Bob Strait's crew chief. We talked about the fact that the 5 car is so quick. If you gang up with the 67 and the 05, can your 66 car go to the front?
We think so, but it's just a question of exactly when. We're going to make the move and see if they go with us.
I heard your gas man say, I guarantee you it'll be close. What do you think now?
I think real close.
So we have real close now, guys. It's going to be tight on the 66 car of Bob Strait.
All right, some lap cars in front of us. This might be Strait's best shot to get by.
It's about as close to him as he's been.
It's not close enough. He's got to try to use these other cars, maybe.
He goes by Tina Gordon this one in the 22.
8 laps to go. Tina's done a good job today. She's going to finish all the miles if she keeps it together these last 8 laps. And she's done a good job. Casey Mears has 2 as they put him another lap down, or a lap down.
And Frank Kimmel is slow on the back.
Champion of the series, in trouble. Came up off of turn number 2, came out of the throttle, and he's off the pace. And it's shut down.
The engine is not on.
There it is.
Well, when he tries to run the engine, the exhaust pipe smokes heavily so.
Whatever whatever it is, it's not good.
Not a good day for Frank Kimmel. He stays on the racetrack. He realizes there's not much he can do by making a pit stop, so he stays out.
At the same time, you're already won the championship of the series. Why ruin the engine further? Shut it off. Take it behind the wall. Those things are expensive.
He's going to ruin it further if he keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just tearing it to pieces now.
So a bad day for Frank Kimmel. Dave?
Well, I've been listening to Frank Kimmel. Of course, they're trying to diagnose it while he's behind the wheel, and their spotter and their crew chief, and really all they know is that it's something internal in the motor. They just asked him if he had oil pressure. I didn't get the response, but I don't think it's good.
Oh, he's got oil pressure, but my guess is a burned piston. That would just be a wild guess.
So Kimmel will continue to putter around here. See what kind of a finishing result he can get. The lead, Bobby Gerhart, still with Strait and Corelli and Jarrett behind him. The lap car of Casey Mears is tagged along. Lap traffic ahead, and 5 laps to go as they come to the start-finish line.
All right, business is starting to pick up.
Remember that Gerhart only got 2 tires on his pit stop, so his left side tires have been on there for a long time.
I think Bob Strait has not been in position to get close enough, even for those guys to help him. You got to get at least a fender on him. And it looks like when he pulls out, like you said earlier, Benny, the 5 car just actually pulls away.
We talk with Gerhart and Strait's crew chiefs. What about Corelli and Jarrett? Jarrett's off the pace. Jason Jarrett is slowing down. He's fallen off the pace.
And Strait had a look on the inside of the Bobby Gerhart car, could not make that pass.
Matt, what happened to Jason Jarrett?
Alan, I looked at his crew chief, Scott Aldridge. He gave you the hand signal, meaning the engine just broke. He says it just broke. Jason Jarrett says it feels like something inside the motor has gone amiss. He's down on the apron.
Wow. So that's 2. The top 2 in points gone out in the last couple of laps. Now there are 3, plus the lap car of Casey Mears. Dave, what about Rick Corelli's team?
They told me earlier today that they could make it 55 laps on fuel. The last time they pitted, 58. The length of this race, 1:13. They should be okay, and Kevin Busker just radioed to Rick Corelli. Get up on the wheel, buddy.
3 to go. All right, Wally, Benny, you're Bob Strait. You've been watching his car. You're behind the wheel of that machine. What do you do?
I've been trying everything I can do for the last 2 or 3 laps, but I don't have enough for it.
No, there's nothing he can do because he just doesn't have enough car to get up alongside.
Caution flag is out. Jason Jarrett's car is going to be stopped on the track. The caution flag will come out.
Now they're trying to get back to the line.
They're coming back to 2 laps to go. And that's going to be a race right there. Caution flag is up, 2 laps to go, and that is it. Bobby Gerhart has just done it.
But now these cars are very, very low on fuel. These turns are banked 33 degrees. They've got to be careful and not, behind the pace car, run out of gas. Bobby Gerhart, you took the caution flag, then you got to slow down.
So you'd run on the apron, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what they need to do, is run on the apron.
Well, they obviously believe they can make it back around the last couple times.
Well, we'll see.
You know, deserving.
Oh, yes. He's had by far the best car.
He has led 103 of 111 laps. Very dominant. Marty.
Well, let's break up this jubilant group. Bill, that was an outstanding race. That was pretty dominant. Did you expect this?
Well, I'll tell you what, that Pontiac was really working today. We got that car home about 9 days ago. I told Bobby, I don't know if we can get it done. There was so much to do. It was in raw metal. We had our car we ran last year in the trailer. Backup plan was to run that car. The guys at the shop, Bill Horner and the guys said, no way, we're going to run this car. They pulled some all-nighters. What a job they did. What a job they did.
And you and Bobby said this morning, it's been so flawless this weekend, I'm a little worried. I want the luck to hold out.
Tell you what, I didn't sleep at all last night. The car concerned me so much because it was so good. Garden Spot Auto Auction, thank you so much for the help today. Hey, Dad, that's 2.
This is a happy bunch of guys, and I'm pretty sure, well, I'm positive, they'll make it all the way around on fuel, no problem.
Well, he did not slow down for the pace car to wait and find out. He went whistling right on by the pace car that was sitting on the apron waiting to pick up the field, and he's making sure he gets that thing back around to the checkered flag. Bobby Gerhardt, 43 years old, Lebanon, Pennsylvania. He won at Daytona in 1999. He's going to win at Talladega in 2001. Checkered flag and caution flag are up. And here he comes to take him. Bobby Gerhardt has won the Food World 300 at Talladega.
That's about as close as Bob Strait has been to him all day.
Gerhardt's your winner over Strait, Corelli, Kirby, and Mitchell. Back to Talladega in a minute. Bobby Gerhardt making his way to Talladega Superspeedway's victory lane after scoring a dominating win today. Led all but 8 laps of the 113 and gets his second career ARCA win. Pretty strong performance. Let's take a look at the finishing results while he makes his way to the winner's circle. Gerhardt beating Bob Strait, Rick Corelli, Andy Kirby, and Richard Mitchell in his first Talladega race. Great run.
A terrific run. Robert Burrows, Benton, and Blunt in the top 8. All these cars in the lead lap. Casey Mears and Tina Gordon will finish 10th today in her first Talladega race.
Nate Monteith, 11th. Stuart Kirby, after the late stop for tires, wound up a lap down in 12th. Jason Jarrett, 21st, after falling out. Andy Belmont, the AOL car, 35th, one of a number of drivers, as you can see, who fell out of the race. High attrition today. And the final finisher in the field, Mike Harmon, who went out just 2 laps in with an engine problem. Bobby Gerhardt is rolled into victory lane. And now for our MBNA Winner's Circle interview. Matt Yoakum is standing there looking on. Matt?
And Bobby Gerhardt has parked the race-winning machine, getting his hats and everything else fixed, and smiles all around. No sticks on top of the car here. I'm sure he'll probably jump up on the window. His first win since Daytona in 1999. As the crew guys are shaking his hand through the window. Come on out of there, Bobby.
Hey, come out with this here.
A great win today by Bobby Gerhardt. His best career finish here at Talladega was 3rd back in 1997. He tops that today. It's finally in Gatorade showers all around. And there he does. He climbs up on top of the car. Congratulations, Bobby. Does it make the win even more satisfying knowing what a dominant car you and your team had here today?
Well, let me tell you something. This race team put its heart and soul into this thing for the last 2 weeks. I mean, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just nonstop. These guys work their guts out. I really don't know what to say other than I'll tell you, an average guy could race a career to get a car like that just one time. I've been blessed with a couple of them. This is surely one of them.
Now, how concerned were you about the guys behind? Because on the radios, the spotters were all trying to make deals, like Monty Hall and Bob Barker up there, trying to make some deals to make a play on you. Did you have a car good enough to hold them all?
I think so. Yeah, this Pontiac was just really stout today.
We did a little bit of homework. We had an opportunity to test a month and a half ago and just gathered a lot of information from that. Did they have anything for me? I really didn't think so. I knew our problem was going to be lap traffic. I don't know if you got any of them camera shots. Oh, it was close a couple times, but Jason ran one heck of a race. He really did. Our cars were really better together. I could tell by the tack that we were just a little bit faster when he was behind me, and he could get maybe 5-6 feet from that back bumper and get stalled there, and I like that. I like that a lot.
How big is the win here at Talladega? You won at Daytona last time.
Well, anytime you can come to a super speedway like this and just put up a performance like that, it's very, very dominant. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my sponsors. I've been doing this a long time, and the ironic thing about what's on this car today, the sponsors from Central Pennsylvania that in a time when being in business maybe isn't the easiest, got behind an effort that I felt could come here today and put on a performance like this. It's Garden Spot Auto Auction, J. Omar Landis. He's been with me since '87 or '88. James Chevrolet, Greg Arcolani, Steve Melnick of Steve Melnick's Northeast Ford. Of course, all my employees at Truck World. I've worked them really hard, and it's certainly going to be very gratifying for all of us.
A total team effort as Bobby Gerhart, his 6th start this season, goes to victory lane. Alan?
17th time Bobby Gerhart has tried for victory at Talladega. Today he's done it in most dominating fashion. Our aerial view from the Budweiser.com airship is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer, an easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series for 20 years. Let's take a look at our race recap of today's ARCA REMAX Series action from here in Talladega. 41 drivers went to the green flag about an hour and a half ago. Lap number 10, Justin Labonte, who started on the outside of the front row, ran into some problems. An oil fitting worked its way loose. He lost 2 laps. He wound up finishing in 17th spot, those same 2 laps down. First caution, lap 25.
We're not quite sure on this one, are we yet? We're maybe Alan may be right.
Keith Seeger's in the 04, maybe shifting gears.
Maybe.
Car jumped up the racetrack with him.
That was Bob Kelly, also on the 17 involved. And then Chuck Webb in the 24 car loses it coming off turn 4. The right rear tire was flat, caused that spin.
Did the triple axle. This was the big one, lap 57. Billy Venturini and Frank Kimmel get together. Venturini right up through traffic, and somehow nobody else gets involved. He was okay, but a very hard shot ended what would have been a top 10 finish for him. Tri-oval, lap 66, Randall Ritter.
And folks, when this car starts going backwards, you can quickly realize how fast 190 miles per hour is.
Gets away without anybody else getting involved. Jason Jarrett stopped on the racetrack after the engine let go in his machine, brought the caution flag out. As the leader, Bobby Gerhart, came to 2 to go, and that was it. Gerhart led 105 of 113 laps to score his 2nd ARCA Series win, the other at Daytona back in 1999. 2nd place finisher today is with Marty.
And 2nd, not by a lack of effort, because he tried everything he could. And Bob, you just got close to Bobby, but just couldn't get around him.
Yeah, we probably had one more shot, try to get around him, maybe back off, and Rick was going to follow me. And boy, that caution come out and kind of hurt us. And I'd like to say hi to my kids, Amy at home, Josh, a Marine, he's in California, and my other son, Aaron's working on the 32 Busch team. But yeah, we had a great car. Had a little problem, you know, we split up one team to do 2 cars, Tina's car and my car, and kind of took a lot out of our effort in the pits. We started back each time, but had a good race car, got up there, and Bobby was awful tough. The rule change kind of helped the Pontiacs, and boy, same car we had last year. I'm real pleased with it, and taking the 2nd's pretty good.
And in his last 3 speedway races, not too bad. 1st at Atlanta last year, 2nd at Daytona earlier this year, 2nd today, Alan.
All right, Marty, thanks. Championship standings with 1 race to go, that being the Atlanta finale. Frank Kimmel already having secured the championship. Both Kimmel and Jason Jarrett had some problems today. Liz?
And I'm with Frank Kimmel, who is the ARCA champion, and his kids, Frankie and Holly. You started out 8th, but, you know, you stayed out there. You were at least able to finish the race.
I'll tell you, that's the hardest I've driven to run. I don't know where we had something go wrong at the very end there where we lost a rear end or transmission or something, but the car ran great all day. Just Just not good enough. Those guys up in the front were really fast, but the advanced auto parts pork Ford today was running hard, and we stayed up in the lead draft most of the time in the second and third group. It was a tough day, but hey, I got to thank everybody from advance and pork, and I got to thank my hearts and prayer goes out to the Mike Williams family. The original 46 from a long time ago when I first started racing, is a great racer, passed away this past week, and hated to see that, but heck, we tried hard today.
The ARCA champion tried hard, and he still managed to pull off an 18th finish right here at Talladega. Alan?
All right, Liz, thanks. And again, one race to go for the ARCA Series. It comes up in Atlanta on November the 17th. You'll see it on TNT. Back with more in a minute. All right, Coach Collins and the Washington Wizards. Michael Jordan tonight, 8 Eastern Time, part of the NBA preseason doubleheader on TNT.
I wonder if MJ will listen to what Doug Collins, the coach, has to say. I think he respects him enough, too, don't you?
He hired him.
He hired him. That's exactly right. So he will listen to it.
There you go. Let's get out of Dave Burns.
I'm with third-place finisher Rick Corelli, and he started the back game front, went to the back game front, but at the end, you really didn't get a chance to show your stuff, did you?
No, that's true, but I mean, one thing about it, I had a lot of good racing out there. I mean, I've seen all angles of it. I drove by my pits one time, and came to the back, went to the front, and way too tight. The guys made great adjustments in the pits. Kevin did from Schrader's crew helping me this weekend, and I'll tell you what, these guys built this car at home. Greg Perky put the body, and you know, I had a 100 motor. We had a problem. That's why we had to start in the back, and you know, we broke a crank, but, you know, hey, this one that he gave me rang like a song, you know, so what can I say? We got out there, and fortunately, 3 to go, you know, and the yellow come out, but, you know, Talladega, who knows what's going to happen at the bottom of it, you know. So maybe get Dyson, but, you know, worst finish we could have was third, but unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to get up there.
And when the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the Winston Cup Series and the Busch Series go to Phoenix next week, he's going to be driving a truck, so keep your eye out for Rick Corelli. Liz?
I am with Alabama's very own Tina Gordon, who made her first start today. Hey, what a great run. You finished 10th.
Wasn't that great? Hey, I got to thank these women in the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom so bad, and they let me break over here. So thank you, women. But was this not great? This is a great team. Phoenix Racing. I couldn't ask for a better car, better team. Sponsors, Sticks and Stuff Furniture, Ashley Furniture, Inland Buildings, Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce. I mean, they just, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to come in. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me in racing. And we did exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to come out and just get our laps and just learn as much as we could and get the experience and finish the race. And that's what we did. And we did in top 10.
You did great. And Shauna Robinson came over and gave you some advice. What'd she say?
Yes, she did. Actually, that was the first time I'd ever met Shauna. She's super nice, really nice. I was a little bit nervous before the race, and I'd ask her, and I think she said her first attempt on this super speedway was back in '88. And she said it's just normal to be nervous and everything, but just be patient. Get out there and just run your lines and be patient.
A great run for her. And hey, Benny and Alan, will they let me cut in line so I can go to the bathroom?
No. You know, at Talladega, it's tough to break in line anywhere here at the racetrack, isn't it, PP?
Exactly right. You see those cars lined up on the racetrack? It's difficult to cut in line.
Okay, we'll take a break here. I wonder if I can go cut in line myself. We'll be back. Bobby Gerhardt dominated and won today's ARCA 300-miler at Talladega, led 105 of the 113 laps on the way to his second career win. Let's hear from more of the top finishers. Here's Marty Snyder.
And a fine job by the young Casey Mears. And how was that first stock car experience today at Talladega, no less, Casey?
I had a great time. You know, I learned a lot and just had a lot of fun. You know, the whole thing this weekend was just to learn as much as we possibly could, get in all the laps, get all the experience that we possibly can. And, you know, I just learned a ton. You know, I really want to thank the Weatherville Jessel team. They did an excellent job getting this car put together last minute and worked really hard, all the guys back at the shop and the guys that are here to come out and really volunteer to come out and help this weekend. Just appreciate it. It's been a good experience, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a run in the future.
And Wally has learned a record number of things today, 5, and he's about to pass out. I say you learned a few more things than that.
I could say I'm probably in the 30 range, so I'm about 25 up on Wally, but you know, I just learned a ton, and that was the main reason why we came this weekend. We learned a lot and just had a bunch of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this.
And he impressed a lot of people this weekend, coming home with a 9th place finish to Dave Burns.
And you know, Jason Jarrett has learned a lot of things from his famous father, but he's learned, hey, no, do one more. He's learned how to sign lug nuts. What in the world? How can you sign a lug nut, Jason? Pretty small.
Yeah, just put my initials or something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you put your whole name on there. Hey, great run for you, but what happened at the end?
It was a great run. We just ran out of fuel there at the end. I guess we miscalculated or something. But the other guys made it, so I don't know what's going on there. But we had a great day. From the time we unloaded here, we had a great car. Qualifying, it was great. Untaped in the draft, it was great. You couldn't ask for a better weekend. You know, I didn't have any nerves. You know, usually you come here, if you have a bad car, you're a little bit nervous all weekend, but I knew we would be able to stay in the front pack. We did that, and we were trying to win it for Mary Louise. She's back home. Her father passed away this week, and we were trying to win it for her in his honor. So we weren't able to do it. We'll go to Atlanta and give it our best shot.
You're second in points. What kind of a learning year has this been for you behind the wheel?
It's been just plain out fun. We did wrap up second in the points today, so that's pretty awesome. And I think we'll be okay as far as the Rookie of the Year deal is concerned, and we're all going to go party down at the banquet in December.
Oh, all right. One more thing you might have learned from his dad, guys.
Yeah. All right, Dave, thank you. Jason Jarrett
Thanks, Dave.
with the disappointing finish. Bobby Gerhardt is your winner. When we come back, a look ahead to tomorrow's NASCAR Winston Cup race. ARCA Series Racing from Talladega on TNT is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. And by Castrol Syntec, full synthetic motor oil, protects in ways other oils can't. The Talladega Superspeedway, the biggest and fastest stock car track in the world. And tomorrow, the best stock car racers in the world go for 500 miles. It's going to be exciting. Sports 500 from Talladega, presented by Dodge, 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow on NBC. And if you've never seen a race from here, this is one you've got to see. It's unlike anything else you could experience.
I mean, we see the cars 3, 4, and probably 5 wide tomorrow, and 43 guys sitting out there holding the steering wheel, terrified almost every inch of the way, because they're all concerned about the big one, the big crash that can happen.
And earlier today in final practice that you saw here on TNT, one did.
Yep, it looks like 51 car of Mr. Purvis and Warren Burton just ran out of room down there. And unfortunately, when that happens, there's a lot of guys that get collected in a wreck like this at Talladega. So there's a lot of guys going to backup cars going to have to start from the back.
Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, Kurt Busch, Buckshot Jones, Kevin Harvick, Ken Schrader, all involved in this one.
And when a car spins, as Purvis does, the car will go down and then it goes back across the racetrack, because the car is trying to continue in a straight line, and the straight line takes it right back up the racetrack in front of the oncoming traffic.
There are the drivers who were involved in the accident. Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, John Andretti, Jeff Purvis, all bringing out backup cars for tomorrow's race. They will all have to drop to the tail end of the starting field and take the green flag from there. Nerve-wracking for the drivers, exciting for us to watch. We'll see things all day that we'll be going, ooh, 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 ooh.
And yes, and folks, if I startle you tomorrow by saying ooh too loud or wow too loud, I apologize already.
But I don't think there's 43 guys that are probably terrified. I think there's a lot of guys that do like running this race. I mean, you expect the big one to happen. You hope it doesn't. We have run races here where it hasn't happened, but this is fun racing. I mean, you're running 3 or 4 wide here. If everybody watches what they're doing and is careful out there, it's fun racing.
And Jimmy Spencer is a guy that says that he loves racing at Daytona and Talladega. So I take it back. There's probably only 41 drivers out there that's going to be terrified tomorrow.
Final thought on the ARCA race before we leave the air. We talked about the inexperience factor at the top of the broadcast. And Wally, we were talking during the last commercial break. What a great job all the guys and girl did today.
I am very impressed with the rookies. Casey Mears did great. Tina Gordon. There's a lot of rookies that really ran good. I saw some really good driving out there today.
And so did I. I echo that statement. I'm very proud of the ARCA series today. Very proud to have been part of that about 30 years ago.
But the veteran, the experience, wins out. 43-year-old Bobby Gerhardt of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, scores his first Talladega victory in today's 300. And so we look ahead to tomorrow's action at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series EA Sports 500. And coming up next on TNT, on the East Coast, Overboard. On the West Coast, Wildcats. And don't forget forget, tonight at 8 Eastern Time, the NBA preseason doubleheader kicking off with Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards. You'll see it at 8 Eastern on TNT. Bobby Gerhardt scores a Talladega victory for Benny Parsons, Wally Dallenbach, and our entire TNT crew. I'm Alan Bestwick. Join us tomorrow on NBC at 12:30 Eastern Time for Winston Cup Racing.